Two wrestlers have been pulled from Survivor Series. An unexpected NXT call-up on last night's SmackDown. And a top WWE star is returning on next week's show. Stay tuned. So kicking things off with the news that two wrestlers have been pulled from Survivor Series. Changes made to both the men's and women's SmackDown Survivor Series teams on last night's SmackDown. A wrestler being removed from each team. On the women's side, Aaliyah. See you later. On the men's side, Sammy. Bye. Two changes taking place on last night's show. What happened here, Sam?
So essentially, we had Sami Zayn lose a match that meant that he was the loser would be removed from the team. There's been some nefarious things going on that we'll get to in just a little bit. It seems that there's been maybe a little bit of collusion between the people running SmackDown, like in kayfabe, obviously Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville. But with Aaliyah's situation, it's a little more kind of open-ended. People think that Naomi is going to be inserted into this slot, and Naomi seems to be the more natural fit. Obviously, feuding with Deville at the moment, it would kind of be, get in there and scupper whatever plans they're going to come up with, because it feels like they're going to try and insert their own pick, I guess.
That's it. Yeah, I think it's a way to further the Sonya and Naomi storyline, and I quite like that as well. And you know what, the Sammy getting pulled from it plays into the conspiracy theory stuff. Yeah, it's all good with me. I think it's all quite decent stuff. Also, on next week's show, a big return is planned. Ridge Holland announcing that SmackDown is going to see the return of Sheamus next week. And there's more to it than that, because it looks like they're going to be teaming together. So Ridge worked this backstage promo with Cesaro, and he told the Swiss Superman that he's going to be teaming with Sheamus, and they're going to be better than the Bar.
Yeah.
Upon Sheamus's return, which I doubt.
I mean, what are they gonna? They better just be called like the Flat Cap Brothers, because that's the whole thing, isn't it? It's like he wears a flat cap, you wear a flat cap, magic.
I quite like the pairing actually if they do that, because like it'll elevate Ridge, which I think is something that he needs. They're both,
for sure.
They both have their similarities, don't they? They're both sort of these big imposing bullies.
Ridge is, as much as he's had an NXT run and people are very hyped on him, and apparently, the company does see him going very far, he is somebody that is going to need just that little bit of that handshake welcome, and to be pulled through, a good few feuds as part of a team before he'll inevitably turn, because you know what's coming down the line. But, hopefully, as you said, this will set him up nicely. It's still weird, though, when I was like reading through reports and it was like Ridge Holland, and I was like, of course he's drafted and everything. My brain just forgets.
Yeah, it's not clicking for me so far. I really hope this changes things, because I'm a big fan of Sheamus, and I think those two together, just a couple of bruisers who go in and batter people. So we might see some tag matches with them against Cesaro and Mansoor or someone, and then some singles matches down the line. I think it could be. It should be
fun. It should be fun.
It should. Ridge, one man who is very, very hot.
Just hot.
And hot. Drew McIntyre, former WWE champion, basically just bigging him up in a recent interview. We'll cover this really quickly, but he told The Telegraph and Argus that Holland has really impressed him since trading NXT for SmackDown. They've spoken a few times on Messenger. He's proud of how hard Ridge has worked on his body, and he thinks the future looks very good for Ridge. I just think I think he's missing that certain something. I think he's great in the ring and everything, but I hopefully Sheamus will help him find that.
This is it, it's just a matter of time, surely. If the company sees that in him, then, it's on the books.
Good luck, Luke Menzies. Unexpected NXT call up next on last night's SmackDown. This came from absolutely nowhere, and this isn't like a Johnny Gargano or someone that might have been like expected to be called up. Someone that's been on NXT for a while. It's an NXT 2.0 star, somebody that I think they were meant to be building the NXT 2.0 brand around. Von Wagner stood next to Pearce ominously. It looks like Von Wagner is going to be Pierce's
bodyguard? Muscle kind of. Not. I don't so much know if he'll be bodyguard, although he was stood there quite ominously. You had basically this is what I was saying. We're gonna call back to in that first story was the fact that Pierce and Sonya were like, we should maybe shake up and strengthen these teams. The SmackDown team needs to be strong going into because they're kind of playing both sides. It's their job. They need to make the best product possible. They've told us that as much in their roles on screen. So, you have the situation developing with Aaliyah being pulled from the match and then Sammy pulled from the match. And essentially, we've got just Von Wagner stood there. And they don't look at him. They don't kind of address him. He was just sort of stood next to them. And then you had Pat McAfee on commentary who was like, who was that? And, he's like threatening and he's huge. And so the weird thing is he's just been introduced as Von Wagner. And now... I mean, we're used to this anyway. They might just be trying to pull the wool over our eyes and pretend that, it didn't happen and that we could be getting an entirely new repackage. Or it could just be something that doesn't go anywhere. It's one of these weird moments, isn't it?
Yeah, it is odd because, as I say, NXT 2.0 is meant to be... They're meant to be investing in new talent. And, what's the point if Vince is going to just be like, actually, fancy them on SmackDown this week?
The thing is, as well, it could just be one of those moments, but it can't at the same time because there was such a camera hang on him. If it was just kind of a throwaway spot, because we've seen NXT talent come up and be the Rosebuds or come up and get involved or be security or just throw him in. But he's prominent in that shot, so I don't think it's a situation like that either. So it looks like he could be getting. It looks like he could be getting a full repackage if they're not going to acknowledge him as Von Wagner.
Absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me to see him take Sammy's spot in the Survivor Series team. Just the fact that he stood next to Adam Pearce there.
Yeah, and what they were talking about at the time and everything. He's huge. It'll look good.
Big boy.
If he gets a good showing, it could be a career-making moment for him. Could really put a stamp on that.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to him and everything. I just find it very confusing that one of the centerpieces of NXT 2.0 is already seemingly...
they've got Bron Breakker. They've got, They're changing things, aren't they? We're not used to this. I don't like change.
Scary, isn't it? Speaking of change, one man that has seen a big change in his life is Rob Van Dam because he's just got married.
Yes, he has.
Hell of a segue. Rob Van Dam tying the knot to Katie Forbes in a ceremony in Las Vegas. So they've been together since 2016. Killer Cross, Scarlett Bordeaux, two of the names in attendance, sharing some lovely photos of the happy couple, and it's just great, isn't it? RVD just seems to have the best life.
Yeah,
every time I see him now, well, he's just
on a yacht.
He's in a hot tub with 50 supermodels. Yeah.
Just occasionally, busting stuff out, like doing a frog splash into a pool or something.
Yeah, right.
Could you imagine just having a life that chill?
Well, I can't think of many other wrestlers who sort of their wrestling persona is just them. Like Riddle is probably pretty close and similar in a lot of ways as well. But RVD, what you see is what you get. Yeah. And congratulations to him and Katie Forbes. It looked like a beautiful, beautiful day. Everyone here at Cultaholic send their best as well.
I sincerely hope they were treated with more care and respect than me and Ross were when we got married in Vegas, though. That was very unromantic. It was just
it was a quick affair, that wasn't it?
It was so you that guy, you that guy, right, sweet, let's go. I'm going to walk down here, you're going to walk in behind me and then just say everything I say when I tell you to say it. I was like, oh. And then the music, they flipped a switch and that was it. It was like, what?
Why are you trying to take away from their special day, Sam?
I'm just saying that I've been married. That I hope that they had a better wedding than me and Ross did. That's all.
Yeah, well, so do I. I hope they're the best wedding ever.
Yeah.
Lovely people. Go on, go and toke a doobie. You two, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.